Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mr. Riley coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. It's been a while since we have been live over here in the studio. So in a few moments, we're going to welcome Coach Smith back. We're going to talk about, the big topic that is on our minds, the Pali football game, Pali football team post the Palisades Fire. So we're going to talk about him, just kind of, trying to get a sense of how Coach Smith feels and just what happened. There was a lot of devastation, a lot of destruction, and so I know there's a lot of questions and things of that nature. So we're going to just kind of talk about Pali football post the Palisades Fire. So stick around and welcome to another episode of This Week in Pali Football.
Hey, win on me, win on three, ready, 1, 2, 3. Win!
Oh, yeah!
Stop playing with a P! 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 Stop playing with a P!
Some call it the gridiron.
Nice route, way to skim it.
Others, 100 yards of pay.
Too much.
We just like to call it football.
Football.
With Facebook James.
Football, baby.
Football, baby, indeed. We are back in the house tonight. Today is February 3rd. It is one of my favorite months of the year. Favorite month because your boy is born. He was born in February. So, I'm a birthday baby, February birthday baby. So, give me some love right there. But another reason is because it's Black History Month. And so I really enjoy and cherish this time of the school year and this time of the year in general because of those two things right there. But we're not here to talk about me. We're not here to talk about Black history. We're here to talk about Pali football. And so we have Coach Smith on. He's waiting for us in the green room, and we're going to hang out. But, man, it's just so good to be back in the seat just talking about Pali football. I know there's a lot of questions going on. People have been asking me and hitting me up. But, let's kind of, remember about or think about the devastation and destruction that took place a few weeks ago, man. I mean, it was just crazy finding out how everything went down and just, the effects of the fire and just learning about the devastation. A lot of Pali former and current players lost their families, lost their homes, and, family members of those players lost their homes. And so just a lot of destruction and, it's time to rebuild. And so it's going to take a while for things to happen in the Palisades, and not only in the Palisades, but all over. You're thinking about Altadena and just all of those folks who, just total destruction. And so, personally, I have not had a chance. I would love to just kind of witness it with my own eyes. Seeing things in real time is a little bit different than seeing things on a news channel or online with pictures and, news reporters. I would love to see some of those areas in real time. Spent a lot of time in Altadena. One of my closest friends, he lived in that area, and I remember just going up in that area playing basketball at Farnsworth Park as a young boy, a teenager. And so, from what I understand, all of that place is no more. And so the only thing I have to remember about that particular place is just the memories that we created during that time. And so, again, going through the Palisades, there's a lot of memories that I made. There's a lot of memories that my family has made, and I'm sure countless others who lived in the Palisades are going to be, just thinking about everyone out there and just what happened. And so it's a shame that it happened, but, it's time to rebuild. And I know the phrase Pali Strong is going to help us kind of get through that situation that we experienced a couple of weeks ago. With that said, those of you who are former Pali football alum, and even current Pali football players. I was in touch, and I believe this message has gone out before, but I did talk to the gentleman who is responsible for creating our Letterman jackets. And so according to him, he's willing to help those fire victims who have lost their Letterman's jackets. It's a pride, it's a badge of honor, because folks have earned those Letterman jackets, and they're kind of expensive too. So he did reach out to the sports program at Pali. I talked to him personally today. And so those of you who are interested, if you lost your Letterman jacket that was purchased through our vendor, I believe the gentleman's name is Pat, he told me directly, he's like, look, we will help you get another Letterman's jacket. And so from what I understand, that offer is not going to last for too much longer. And so I would say what I'll do is at some point in the live, I'll drop his information and you can get in contact with him. So again, if you lost your Letterman's jacket as a result of the Palisades Fire, and it's the jacket that he made for you, then he's willing to work with you. And so we will drop that information so you can get in contact with him directly. And I know Rocky Mott's, the athletic director, has that information, but he's not going to extend this offer for too long. So I just wanted to make that known for those of you who are watching, or you want to pass on that information to someone who has, lost that jacket. It's precious and it holds a lot of memories. And so again, we'll publicize that and maybe put it in our social media as well, so folks can see it. If they don't have a chance to see it and hear it in this medium, they can hear it in another medium and act accordingly. So that was straight from Mr. Pat. Like I said, I talked to him today, and he's willing to honor, but not for too much longer. All right, other than that, let's go ahead. I have Coach Smith waiting in the wings, and so if I could pull him up real quick and get him in on this conversation, let's go with this one right here. All right, Coach Smith, what's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm doing great, and happy early birthday.
Oh, I appreciate you, my man. And you know what? Here, this is going to be the last time I say it. Happy New Year.
Yes, exactly. The month went by fast. It was a lot going on, but it went by fast.
Man, I know. So, I know there's I got a list over here of things that we're going to discuss today. But how was your New Year? How did you bring it in? Was it a quiet New Year? Was it, did you have a lot of fanfare around the New Year? How did you bring it in, Coach?
I was very quiet. I think I was home. I didn't do much. I was probably in bed around 9 o'clock and just hung out. I didn't do anything at all. I know I didn't go out. And with the dog, with the new puppy, he wasn't gonna let me go out either. So it was a quiet New Year's. And then a couple of days later, it just got really busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we stayed around the house, didn't do too much, and it was kind of quiet as well. Being being in your late 50s, it's just like, all right, hey, Happy New Year. There's a kiss. All right, it's time to go night.
Right, exactly.
I think I was just up messing around on the computer, just doing what I do, and just like a normal thing. The kids had some apple cider, and we kind of toast, and it was like, all right, it's 2025.
Right. It's like I used to. Yeah, I used to be able to go out and hang out all night and start going out. I used to start getting dressed at 10 p.m. and ready to go out. Now it's 10 p.m. If I'm up at 10 p.m., I'm way past my bedtime. So it's a different time.
Listen, when the Sandman knocks at my door like around 11:45, man, listen, right. I go straight. I go to the bed and get ready for bed, and I'm probably asleep if my wife and I aren't talking. I'm straight to sleep. So it's not like it used to be, and I guess that's what happens when you get older.
Right, exactly.
So let's go ahead and, man, the big question. Where were you? Let's kind of transition over to the Palisades Fire. And I kind of talked about the Eden Fire, the Altadena Fire. There's a whole bunch of fires that kind of broke out. Now there's videos showing different fires happen in different places, and some of the reasons. Even yesterday, I believe I saw a video saying that one of the light posts in the area just caught on fire by itself.
Wow.
So, once those things get started, plus with the wind,
Yeah.
to help fan the fire. Do you remember where you were when you heard that the fires were starting?
I was actually on the phone with Eden, our QB club president. I don't remember exactly where I was. I think I was driving somewhere, and we were talking, and she said, "Oh, have you heard about the fires?" Because there was track practice, and her son Tavian was during track. He had sent her a picture, and so we were kind of roughly talking about it. And she sent me the picture, and it looked pretty close. So I went home, and I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was, we get fires a lot, so I really didn't think much of it. I didn't know how close it was to the school. I just thought it was kind of on the hill. Somebody had told me it started on Sunset. So I still thought it was just kind of a hill fire. Went to do laundry that night. And then as I was doing laundry, I started getting reports that the school was on fire and it had, it was spreading really fast. So trying to watch the news on my phone at the laundromat while I was sitting there drying, and I'm talking to somebody else, and everybody's giving me updates. One update was the whole school was on fire. The whole school had totally burnt down. As I'm watching the news, I'm looking at the football field, and my office is on fire, and I could kind of see that. So it was chaotic, as each hour went on, and getting different news reports, getting reports from other people, watching the news, and about 70% of the news I got was false. So, there was a lot of relief in, not knowing that the football field wasn't burnt down. Obviously, my office being burned down, and I had reports that the press box was burned down, but come to find out that's okay. So, just as far as the school, it's good to see that it wasn't a total loss. Obviously, we lost about 40% of it, but my concern was all those families had lost their homes, and obviously we had a lot of football players lose their homes. So that was my biggest concern.
Yeah, for me, again, that I guess Wednesday night, because we were off Thursday and Friday. So that Wednesday night when everything happened, of course, we know about the winds because, they were predicting the winds. Okay, Santa Ana's or whatever the case might be. Okay, wind, not a big deal.
Right.
But then, coupled with, there's a fire in the hills, it was like, okay. And so, like, everything just, like you said, just news reports of the fire burning down the campus, and I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna believe it, because by this time it's evening time, and of course, we're seeing parts of the village on fire and everything, and folks are, scrounging to get out of there. For me, I just told myself, let me just wait until the next morning, right? And so we waited to the next morning. I'm sorry, it was Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Waited till the next morning. Glad to hear that only a portion of it was burned down, but just the news reports and everyone saying, "Oh, it's burned down." It was like, "Oh, come on now." And then
Right.
of course my mind went to my daughter, who's a senior, what's going to happen to her. And so it immediately clicked. We were having a conversation around the dinner table, and she was like, "Oh my goodness," because again, the reports that were false saying the school had burned up, right? And so I'm getting text messages, and folks are like, "Man, we feel bad," blah 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 blah. But like I said, for me, I wanted to wait until the morning until I actually saw pictures, and so I think probably in the last few years, I spent. I mean, Channel 5 was on for almost like 24/7. Went to work Wednesday, and then because of the air quality, they sent us home. But then Thursday and Friday, from Thursday all day Friday, just watching to see the developments and just everything, all the devastation. It was just really, really crazy.
Yeah. Same here. I think from Tuesday night probably till Friday, my TV was literally on the news. I went from 2 to 4 to 5, 9, and then all the way back down. Like, just kept recycling the same news stories, and I haven't watched the news since that Friday because it's just I was just on overload after that, and
No, yeah, absolutely.
it was a lot to digest.
Yeah, and I just checked a couple of minutes ago because I still hadn't heard. Once the fires get going, it's like, okay, we hear about the devastation, but we don't hear about, okay, containment unless you're in that area. So for me,
Right.
I was telling my friend Daryl, who's here in the studio with me, I was like, okay, let me see if it's contained. And so 2 days ago, I did see I read a couple of articles saying that it is contained. I was, happy to say that one, the Eden and the Altadena fire, I was like, okay, that's great. Now people can begin to kind of get back and rebuild. But immediately when everything hit, man, I just thought about all of the families
Right.
who attend Pali, but more specifically, families that I know who are associated with the football program. Some of those houses I've been in for meetings and things of that nature.
Right.
And so for me, my heart just kind of went out. I was sad, almost to the point of
Yeah.
tears because, these folks couldn't get much. They had to just leave.
Right. Yeah. No.
So it was crazy.
Yeah, it was sad. Yeah, it was sad, and then, you know, hearing the names of all the kids and families that lost their homes, and where they live, and you see how close it is, and you hope for some miracle goes around the house, but it was just too much, and
Yeah.
it's just it was like you said, it's devastating. Like you said, being in some of these homes for meetings, and um, just building relationships with the parents in the last 2 years and kids the last 2 years. It's hard to watch and hard to hear stories of what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I was just, folks were like, "Hey, Riley, you good?" I was like, "No, I'm not good."
Right.
And it's really nothing that I could do. But in my situation, man of faith, I can pray for the situation. And it's kind of hard because it's just like, okay, what can you do? Um, you know, what can you do? And so, I was
Right.
devastated for those families, but I was also devastated after seeing some of the photos of the football office. Glad to see that only portions of the field were kind of lightly damaged.
Right.
But, and then I thought about my daughter who's a senior. It's like, okay, here we go again. I think you said earlier, 2020 COVID, there's going to be no graduation because of
Right.
what happened. And I was glad to hear that the admin are trying to really work hard to have the kids get back on campus. And so
Yes.
I heard that there's going to be graduation on the field, prom, and all the other stuff. So I was kind of happy about that. But no, it was touch and go. I was really emotional inside, not outwardly, but just kind of devastated in terms of everything that had happened.
Yeah, definitely. And I have to give it up to the administration. They're really doing everything they can to try to get us back to normal as quickly as possible. I know it's going to be hard, but you know, we've seen miracles happen before. So I trust. Just seeing how much effort they're putting into it, I trust that everything they said they're going to do, they'll do.
Now, let me ask you. So, since you work very closely with Pally, and we got you on the live, man. So the word is they're trying to get back in by April. Is that what the word has been given forth from our executive director, or are they going to have to? Or you think they're going to have to wait a little bit later, and April is a little bit too soon?
I heard that some of the sports facilities might open up around April, May. As far as the school, I don't think the school would be open. That's why they're trying to find in-person spots right now. So for in school, I don't think it's going to be open by April, but they're optimistic that some, at least like the football field, might be open by April. Not sure about the gym, but I heard the gym might be open around that time as well. So I know they're working for the sports facilities to be open in the next 2 or 3 months, which I
Gotcha.
think I say March. They say March. You always want to give it an extra month to give it that wiggle room. So
Yeah.
I say April, maybe May, but hopefully by mid-spring sports, some of the facilities will be open, like the baseball field as well. So we're hoping. I don't know how true it is, but that's the word on the street, and like I said, they're working really hard to get it. So we'll see.
Okay. So, quick question: have you been on campus since? You haven't. Okay.
No, no.
Okay. So let's kind of dispel any rumor. So the baseball field is intact. It was not damaged too much, correct?
Yeah, so I know the batting cages were burnt.
Okay.
I think one of their sheds was burnt, but the field itself is still intact.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Gym is fine.
the gym is fine. There was a little bit of damage to some equipment,
Okay.
but the gym is fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then we already talked about the football field is fine, except for there's several areas now. Your office. Now let's kind of talk about your particular office where you kind of hang out. When were you notified about the state of the football facilities? Now I think someone had posted a picture. And I know I talked to Mr. Galuzzo, and I was going to reach out to him and have him send me some photos. But when were you notified about the state of the football facilities at Pali?
So I was like everybody else. I was watching the news, and I kept getting calls saying that's your office on fire. So I couldn't really tell. It was dark and it was
Yeah.
moving. I think they were in the wrong spot, so I couldn't really tell if it was my office. So I really didn't believe it at first. And then the next morning, one of the kids somehow got close and took a picture and showed my office in the weight room. So it was really 100% confirmed that next morning for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Okay.
I was told that night, but I was like, I need to see proof. And then I got the proof the very next morning from one of the players that got on campus somehow. So that's when I was notified. Yeah.
Okay, so now let me ask you, how did that make you feel after hearing and seeing, hearing the reports and then actually being sent, a video or a photo? How did that kind of make you feel? You spent 2 years there, a weight room, that whole little area, man. Just tell us kind of how you felt, Coach.
I'm gonna be very honest. Obviously, I was upset, and all that stuff was in my office. It could be replaced. And when I found out, kids from our football team lost their homes, I'm gonna be quite honest. I didn't feel anything about the office, and I felt terrible about the kids that lost their homes. Everything that was in my office, obviously, there's stuff we needed. There was nothing material. I mean, there's nothing sentimental. There was a picture in there of me and Deveron that I really wanted. So his dad is gonna give me another one. So like I said, that could be replaced. And there's a lot of things that I had in there that could be replaced. But comparing my office to people's homes, I'm dead serious. I didn't. Obviously, I felt bad, but I didn't feel nearly as bad about my office as some of those people that lost their homes. So, um, no, to me, I was like, I get a better office. So that's how I looked at it. I loved my office. It was my second home.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, maybe I can get a better office this way. And like I said, it's I don't know what to compare it to, but losing my office compared to somebody losing their home, it didn't hit the same for me. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's kind of the same thing when I thought about the football facilities and just the destruction that did take place. I was like, look, pretty much what you said. Those things can be replaced. Although that Charter Bowl trophy though, 'cause-
yeah,
but that can be
That's true.
that can be replaced as well. All we gotta
Yeah.
do is have Mr. Galuzzo, Steve, because I know he knows the dates and
Yeah.
all that kind of good stuff. So that that's easily that can be replaced. But no, man, you can't. It's like okay, that's the football office, but you got hundreds of people
Right.
who are displaced because of
Exactly.
this fire. So again,
Yeah.
hearts went out, and just even now it's just like it's almost emotional for me because of just the relations that we built. I was texting former dads, and I was trying not to pry too much, but just kind of reading on social media and just kind of looking at some of the posts that people were posting. I was like, dang, another one. Dang. I was just like,
Yeah.
just like it was crazy. Just
Yeah.
but I'm happy now. I'm happy that we're over it. It's contained now. It's time to rebuild, and so hopefully the folks who live in that area, or hopefully they'll rebuild or just kind of move on with their lives. If they're going to rebuild in the Palisades, great. If they're going to move somewhere else, that's great too. But the thing is trying to rebuild and go forward. And then we have this notion or this saying, Pali strong. When you hear the term Pali Strong, what does that kind of mean to you in light of what we witnessed and experienced a few weeks ago?
To me, it just means everybody coming together. I know a lot of kids transferred, a lot of people moved away, but the people who stayed, I think they need to be strong, just emotionally. And I've seen it. There's families who lost their homes but want to help others. And there's people outside the community who want to help us, but there's also people in this community who want to help each other. And to me, that's being strong. Nobody's asked nobody that I've come across has been asking for handouts. Everybody's offering it. Some of them will turn it down. Some of them accept it, which they should. And just seeing everybody wanting to help each other, even if they lost something or not, to me, that's being strong. And nobody's maybe they're not doing it out in public. Asking for somebody to feel sorry for them at all. And if it was my home, I probably wouldn't be able to be that strong, to be honest with you. And just seeing the community and everybody helping each other and wanting to build this community back, to me, that's what Pali Strong means.
Absolutely. And, here's a situation. So a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was around the first Martin Luther King weekend. My wife, she's a cheerleader. She's one of the cheerleading coaches. And so they had a tournament, and I think they had two. One was like a week after the fires, and then they had one, the Martin Luther King weekend. And so, they opted to do that one as a much bigger, much bigger venue. And so, I was like, hey, do your thing. Y'all go ahead and represent. And so they had their practice a couple of days before, just to kind of get ready. And, you don't want to go out there half-stepping, right? And they went out there. I went to watch my daughter and her teammates, the other cheerleaders, do their thing. I got there right on time, so that was great. But, man, just the audience and the reaction, you had other schools holding up Pali Strong. Right. And it was just, I'm almost emotional thinking about it now. But just the outpouring of support and encouragement, so much so they, I think, I told my wife, I was like, this is probably the best I've seen you guys cheer, especially in this situation. I didn't see any visible mistakes that they, made during their routine. She's like, no, there were some mistakes. But I've seen them have some falls and drops and all this other stuff. For me, it was almost flawless. And just, for me, it was the coming together. The girls, they cried afterwards because, they didn't expect, Pali Strong posters from other schools and just, just the accolades of them actually performing and having the strength. And so, that was a great thing. And then in their section, they took, there's only two places, first and then, first runner-up. So they took first runner-up in their category. And so, for me, I was just like, man, this is super, super dope. I know some of the girls were kind of emotional afterwards. But, when I think about Pali Strong, I think about, that situation, being able to persevere despite what happens. And so it was just super, super dope. And I have some video. I need to probably put it together and edit and upload it somewhere. My wife hasn't. Don't tell my wife. I think I put just a raw video. But, I took some videos from before, they kind of, prayed or, right before, then you had the crowd and everyone's cheering. And then, of course, they performed. And then afterwards, once they got their award, they were, again, emotional and happy and excited and everything. So I need to put that together. Wife, if you're watching, I'll put that together sometime this week. But, okay, so let's move on from the devastation. And we don't want to underplay it because we know a lot of people were affected. And you talked about it, Coach. You said a lot of people, especially students and families, they're going to move away until Pali's may be rebuilt. They'll come back. But for right now, because people, it was your vacation. I think it was the last week of your vacation, correct?
It was, yeah.
So that's another thing, too. And so people are like, okay, this is happening during the beginning of 2025. We need to have our kids in person or going somewhere. So, of course, we have people who are going to leave, hopefully people will come back. But for the time being, you mentioned it, people are going to go and leave. And so that's the big thing for me in terms of, especially as we talk about the football program. Folks, are we gonna stay? What's gonna happen to the program, James? I don't know. I haven't been up there to the campus. I haven't talked to Coach. So, Coach, go ahead and kind of envision, what's going to happen. Is the folks or the Fire, is it going to impact next season's football, situation? So just maybe you can kind of speak to that in terms of going forward. I do have a question about, I know they're training and everything right now, but I want to hold off on that. But, just folks moving, going, do you think that's going to impact our next season of football?
Well, first and foremost, I will say we will have a football season this fall. That's 100%. Excuse me, 100%. We will have a football season. We've had 2 workouts so far, and each time we've had at least 50 kids out there. So you only need 50. Really, only need 11 kids to put on the football field. So having 50, I'm okay with that. I do know there's a few kids that left permanently. There's a couple that are going away to go to school, coming back. And then our core guys haven't left, and a lot of people saw the video that we put out, and they want to stay. And I will say the last couple workouts we've had on Friday, I've never seen the kids so energetic, enthusiastic. They really want to redeem what happened in the championship game, and 2, they want to prove to everybody that this season and this program is not going anywhere. And just to see them work out, it made me believe. It gives me chills thinking about it right now. And the leadership that this group has shown over the last month, it's just been, unbelievable. And I really feel good about. I wish we played tomorrow. I really want to start this football season. Just, I'm excited. For the fall. It's going to be a long road, but these kids are on board with it. Nothing's changed as far as their, approach to spring practice coming up in a couple months. They still want to do 7-on-7s. They still want to throw. So nothing's changed, but I think we're going to see a more enthusiastic football team this fall, just because of how much they want to prove everybody wrong, and all these coaches trying to come up to these kids and tell them that you guys are going to have a football team next year and come to our school. And they're like, no, we're staying. We're having a football team. And, they want to rebuild this. I don't want to say rebuild because we haven't gone anywhere, but they want to make sure this program is still here.
Mm-hmm. No, I think, and I'm glad, that you said, and I think even in the video, you said, that we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere, right? This is a time to kind of, it's not even a rebuilding situation. The school is being rebuilt.
Right.
That's the only thing, parts of the track might be, needs to be rebuilt. The football office needs to be rebuilt, right. But the team really doesn't need to be rebuilt because you guys are all alive. Now, we know devastation is taking place. Folks leave. We get that. But, again, folks gather around activities, especially in high school. And so football is one of the major activities. And so in having these boys come back out to train, which is something that happens anyway in the offseason,
right.
They train. And so you're right. It's not a rebuilding. It's just continuing to develop the folks who they want to be for next year. And, yes, to your point, folks are going to come. Folks are going to leave. Folks got to do what they got to do. But and I love that you said the core folks who really want to make this team successful and kind of, be on a redemption tour, if you will, from next season, from last season, they're going to be there and they're going to help, the newcomers, the folks who are already there kind of, form the resiliency of that team, facing a fire, going through whatever, people losing their homes and having to move or whatever. I'm hoping that these boys are, up for the challenge because it is going to be a little challenge. Right now, they're virtual. They don't have, kids are social beings. they love to be social. And so, you really can't be too social on Zoom.
Right.
There's nothing like the camaraderie and, developing the teamwork at a school. And
Right.
so, that's probably the only thing that needs to be rebuilt is just that camaraderie at school. But if you guys are continuing the workouts and or doing the workouts and all that kind of good stuff, then yeah, the team effort is going to be there. And I'm glad to know. And there was never any doubt in my mind that there was not going to be a football season because that's one of the major things in high school, along with basketball, baseball, and those folks who gather around those activities, that's what they do. And so it would be crazy not to have a football team or season
All right.
because of something that happened. Now, and we're not underplaying what happened, but I think
Right.
it's part of, just the high school life, high school in general. And so I'm glad that you said there's going to be a wonderful team. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's happening now. You mentioned the training sessions. Obviously, you can't train at Pali, so there's a lot of movement that is taking place. So kind of walk us through, your workouts, where you're working out, and, you've already mentioned about 50 boys showing up, and I'm sure that's bringing up a big joy, leaving a lasting memory on your heart in terms of them showing up, being able to train. It's going to look different than sixth period did last year, but just kind of talk about what training looks like right now.
Right now, for sixth period, they're kind of training on their own just because they're at home. And then every Friday from 3:30 to 5, we're at John Adams. Actually, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be at John Adams Middle School in Santa Monica. And then after that, we have to actually find a place to continue our workout. So we won't have John Adams Field when soccer comes back in a couple of weeks. So we're still looking for a field in Santa Monica or really anywhere for us to hold workouts. And also for our weight program. That's the one thing I really want to tackle this year in the off season is getting in a weight room, getting us stronger. With our weight room not being there, we really need to find somewhere to get stronger. So if not in a weight room, we can bring the weight room outside, or we can go somewhere and get stronger somewhere. But that's it for right now. Just our Friday workouts, and then hopefully after that, we'll find a field to be on permanently or until the school opens back up.
Absolutely. You can't be Pally strong without a weight room.
Exactly.
Right? So, it's very important that you have a weight room. Now, let's maybe talk about some of the relief efforts. Now, I know once the fires hit and, things kind of happened, there were a lot of, GoFundMe pages. Has one been set up for, the development of a new football office and weight room? So kind of walk us through just efforts to either fundraise or maybe the plan going forward to develop a weight room and a football office where you guys can do what you normally do throughout the season.
Yeah, we have a GoFundMe. It's the GoFundMe.com/donate to restore Palisades Charter High football facility. It's kind of long. One of the players put it together. So it's GoFundMe.com/donate to restore Palisades Charter High football facility. So we have that set up. We've reached out to the Chargers. We reached out to the Rams. I'm a Raider fan, but I might, have a couple of second teams. They've been amazing, trying to help us out. I know the Chargers are going to donate some weight equipment to us once we get back up and running. So it's good to be there tomorrow because they're going to show us how to use the stuff they want to donate to us. The Rams invited us to the NFL pregame show last week, and they really want to help. We've gotten other high schools. Westlake High School donated clothes to the families that lost their homes. We had Santa Margarita reach out to us that want to help. So we've gotten, a ton of people wanting to help any way they can. I have friends who know people in high places who reached out today that want to help in any way they can. So yeah, we have a lot of people reaching out, and they feel bad. I shouldn't say feel bad, but they want to help, whatever they can do, even if it's a little bit. They just want to help any way they can. It's been amazing.
Yeah, so here is I was able to just type in. I think I typed in Palisades football something, and then it showed up because there was no
Okay,
way.
good.
So
It's
it
long.
looks like the goal is 20 grand. So far we've raised 3,000, and so what we'll do, maybe we'll continue to push that out just to, if folks are feeling like they want to donate, and it would be great for Rams, Chargers, any NFL, heck, the NFL to kind of donate something, especially once you get to that part of the rebuild in terms of the football area. It'd be great, awesome for somebody to, make a nice donation to rebuild the weight room area, the outdoor weight room area, because it was purchased. Really wasn't that it wasn't too long ago that area was created, and funds were made available to purchase those things. So
Right.
if you're watching and you feel so inclined, it would be great for you to support this particular relief effort to rebuild the football facilities at Palisades Charter High School. And so I'll definitely commit to getting that out on the social media as well, so that folks can know and want to donate and all that kind of stuff, and pass on that information to other folks who might have some deep pockets
Right.
to make some things happen. Okay, so we talked about the Rams activity. Now we didn't talk about it in length, and so maybe we can mention it just a little bit. So I know there was a Rams activity for the NFC Championship game. I believe my sister-in-law, she sent me a picture saying my nephew was on there. So maybe if you can kind of share what actually happened, what the activity was, and how the Rams kind of supported our boys in the Pali football program.
Yeah, so we were invited to NFL Sunday pregame show on the NFL Network with Rich Eisen, Kurt Warner, RG3, and I forgot the other guy's name. But they invited us out, and Steve Mariucci and Emma Coy. They invited us and the girls flag football team to. Initially, they wanted us to go outside, and they do a thing where they use the players as I guess dummies, kind of move around to do a play, and they use the kids. It was raining that morning, so we couldn't go out and do that. So they did it in studio. So it was just an awesome time. We got a tour of the network, the whole building, and then we had a chance to actually go outside at the end once the rain stopped. But it was a good chance to meet, the host. Dogs barking in the background.
It's all
Sorry.
good.
No, it was a great time. The kids had a blast. Just a couple hours just to get away from all the stress, and the hosts were all great to the kids. They were taking pictures afterwards. So, like I said, the Rams set that up for us. And, it was just great. That was the first time I got to see all the kids for the first time since the fires, and it was good to see them smiling and having so much fun. So it was great.
Yeah, a great way to take their minds off, kind of what happened in the whole situation behind, so, just gave them a brain break and kind of, get back to thinking about football, right? At least for a moment anyway, before some of the folks who were being affected, they had to go back and, deal with their situation. So, no, shout out to the Rams for doing that, man. That's awesome. And, hopefully, and I think you said earlier that you guys are visiting the Chargers. They're going to train you guys, so maybe talk about that as well. Just mention that as well, Coach.
Yeah, I reached out to them initially when the fires happened. I reached out and said, if you guys are throwing away a barbell, like we'll take it. Anything that'll help. And they reached back out to me, and they said, with their head and strength conditioning coach, they want to put us through a full workout. So we set that up for tomorrow after school, and I already know the kids are very excited. I'm excited to see how the kids take this all in. And like I said, they deserve it. And it's going to be probably an intense workout. They're going to see what a real a real football workout's about and what they need to do to get better. I think it's going to be good too. But also, obviously, what they've been going through, they deserve to have this experience.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I mean, the Chargers facility is right there in El Segundo. It's super dope.
Yeah.
I think I passed it unknowingly that it was I think when they had their grand opening, I think I was going. I know I was leaving. I left from getting. I'm kind of ashamed to say it, but I'm saying it anyway. I left from getting a pedicure and a manicure. I think my wife and I were going on our anniversary weekend, so I wanna look and feel nice as well. So I think on my way home, I passed by the stadium. I was like, oh. That's the Chargers. So I knew they were in that area, but I didn't know exactly where they were. So it looks super nice. You guys will have a wonderful time, I'm sure. Plus, the kids love Canes. So Canes is like right around the corner from the Chargers facility. So you guys will have a wonderful time. And shout out to the Chargers for making that happen. And I'm sure the boys, they're going to regret, because if it's like a real NFL workout and not a high school workout,
Yeah, right.
yeah, you might not see too many. You might not see too many on Friday, Coach.
But luckily, we have some months to recover. So
Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna need some ice baths.
Right.
So that's all good. That's all good. It was. I think I've gone through all of my questions, man. It's good to know that Pali football is alive and kicking. And I even saw some new faces, some returners, on some of the pictures that, were kind of floating around on Facebook. I was like, they're going to so-and-so. So
right.
it was good to see, folks kind of getting back into the routine. And so, of course, again, total devastation. My thoughts and prayers are still with those being affected, those families that I know who are heavily impacted by the fires. And, it's time to rebuild, Pally strong and all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate you hopping on, Coach.
Of course. Anytime.
I know we had teased, and we still have these awards that we need to recognize. And so you guys, if you're watching the replay, just know next week ain't going to be nothing but awards and maybe reminiscing about this NFL workout with the Chargers. Now, do you plan to work out with them, Coach, or are you just going to sit back and observe?
I'm the photographer that the parents can't go, so I told the parents I will photograph all your kids and post it. I have a swollen index finger. I have no idea how it happened. I have a swollen ring finger. I don't know what happened. My back is all twisted. The dog jumps into bed with me. He takes up the whole bed, so I'm curled up in the corner.
Yeah.
My neck is hurting, so there's zero chance I will be lifting a finger except to take pictures. That's it.
Absolutely. No, that's what's up. That's what's up. And that's probably what you need to do. Just kind of, and then, you could probably implement some of the things that you witness, the Chargers do, and you can take it back and, begin to implement, with our boys and making sure that they, they're ready for next season. So
I definitely will. Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be fun. You guys have a wonderful time. And so, Coach, I'll give you the last word like we normally do, and I'll come back and just sign us off, and then we'll hang out in the green room after the broadcast is over.
No, again, like I said earlier, this football program will be playing in the fall. We're not going anywhere. The kids are excited to get this started, to get going. I think we're going to see a better football team this year. And the kids are working super hard to prove everybody wrong. I think we're in a unique situation, and the kids are ready for the challenge. And, I mentioned earlier I'm coaching baseball, and the coach mentioned this as well. And I agree it goes to all the sports programs. But, I think this is a season where we can make history, not just winning the first city title, but all the adversity these kids are going to be going through this whole year. And if we can finish that off with a title, he said this is what movies are made of, and I think this can be a season like that. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I hope I see all familiar faces out there this year.
Absolutely. Now, I did have one question that came to mind. Equipment did our equipment get damaged, or was it tucked away in the gymnasium?
So, as far as the jerseys and everything,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
so the jerseys were in the gym
Okay.
and they were safe, but I'll hint at this. It will be a pleasant surprise for all the kids in the fall.
Okay.
I'll say that. I'll
Enough
leave it
said.
there.
Enough said. Enough said. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Coach, appreciate you hopping on, man. Just hang out in the green room. I'll wrap up the show, and then we'll come back and chop it up a little bit. So I appreciate you making the time. And then next week, I promise, let's do awards, and then we'll close out the season for a couple of months, and then we'll come back sometime, maybe at the end of springtime, maybe early summer, and then begin to do it all over again.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, guys. We made it through. Hopefully you guys got some questions answered, and it's going to be a wonderful time for the boys. And this is what resiliency is all about, being able to bounce back despite what goes on. And so, we know folks come and go, and the folks who are supposed to stick around are going to stick around and continue to make this football program great. So, I think we got a lot of questions answered tonight. Our heart still goes out to those being affected in all of the fires that has happened in the past month. And thanks be to God that all of the fires are under containment, and so that people can begin to rebuild. And so thank you, Coach, for being perseverant and making sure that, you're the face of Pali football. And, like the video said, and I probably should have closed with the video, we're Pali strong. We're going to be here. We're not going anywhere. So I'm Facebook James, Mr. Riley. I'm not going anywhere, at least for 1 year anyway. I'm going to hang around and kind of help try to document and post and all this other kind of stuff as it relates to Pali football, and just making sure that folks know what we're going through, whether it's good or bad. So hopefully you're going to stick along for the ride, because it's going to be a wonderful journey. All right. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I am Mr. Riley, coming to you live from the West Coast, the best coast, the West Side. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. All right. Peace out. Have a good week.